Are we on?
I think we're here.
Great.
This technology.
Technology. Oh my God. Okay, guys. I'm sorry that we were here for that took us a while to get here.
Right.
I am very, very excited to have this conversation with Anjelah Johnson. First of all, thank you, HIP, for giving me this opportunity for the first time. I've met Anjelah just a couple times in friends' houses and Latina school lunch, and this is my first cafecito with her, and I'm so excited because I have so much respect and admiration for Anjelah, and I'm very, very excited to be here. Anjelah Johnson, it's not only a pure example of persistence, perseverance, and hard worker. It's also a truly inspiration for our community and other communities, not only in our community, but other communities. So I'm very, very excited again to have this conversation with you. Anjelah Johnson.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here with you as well. We're saying these are crazy times that we don't get to do this in person. But I'm grateful to have this time to like sit down with you and everybody who's watching right now.
Yeah. And to be honest, it's like before we start in this amazing conversation that we're gonna have, I just want to like acknowledge that we're going through very difficult times and very uncertain times, and we're grateful to be having this conversation, the two of us. But I just want to remind everybody to be kind and to treat each other with love, because we all are going through difficult times, especially now more than ever.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Okay. So now, how is it going? How is your quarantine going?
Listen, before this past week, it's been pretty exceptional. I saw a funny meme the other day that said, I miss Tiger King and stimulus check part of quarantine because this is just getting dark now. The beginning of quarantine, I actually was enjoying having some time off from the industry and from the hustle, from the striving, from the go, 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 stay relevant. What do you got to do? Oh, everyone's doing this now. Now I got to do this. I got to do a YouTube channel. I got to do a TikTok. I got to do a this. I got to do, how many followers do I have? How many people like this? Blah, 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 blah. I sell tickets. I'm touring, sell tickets. Oh, this one needs help. I got to do a radio interview, blah, 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 blah. It was so nice to just stop for a second and know also that the rest of my industry is stopping with me. And it's a nice time to reconnect and get in alignment and deconstruct some things in my machine that I have built, and I have a very strong machine that I've been touring for 13 years. It's a wonderful machine, but sometimes there's some things that no longer serve our highest self that are still a part of our machine. So it's been a great opportunity to deconstruct and let go of some things that have served their purpose and now are just dead weight. And I think that's what we're doing in America right now, is deconstructing some things.
What are one of the things that you're like right now in through this process of making you stop and connecting with yourself and connecting with everything that you have made in these last 13 years? What is one thing that actually that you had been enjoying the most from these like last 2 months?
I would say meditating on my balcony. I just started gardening. I'm very new to gardening, and I'm realizing I did not pay attention in school and learn basic science. And there are a lot of things that I'm like, wait, how does soil and sun work? And I'm enjoying learning how to garden and grow my own jalapenos and lettuce. And basically, as long as I have the ingredients to always make chips and salsa, I will be happy in life.
That's great. I'll be calling you just to get
Yeah.
some advice to the jalapenos. They're coming handy because once you run out, and the food is not going to taste the same. That's for sure, especially for us Mexicans.
Yeah, exactly. You're gonna be like, why are there carrots in this salsa? Sorry, that's all I had in season in my garden. It's carrot salsa.
Oh my God. In American Like Me, let's start getting deep here. In American Like Me, America Ferrera's book, you wrote, oh my God, guys, please just go and this book is amazing. Anjelah's essay it's so inspiring, and me being a Mexican immigrant, I connected so deep, and I feel like there's a lot of Latinx that will be able to connect with this essay in so many different levels, but most importantly, in this notion of not being enough because of the way where we're like raised on, or where we were raised, or the limitations that our community that we had growing up, right? You didn't grow up in a Mexican neighborhood. You talk about like not having this sounding Mexican name and not being able to speak Spanish, Espanol, and but you embrace that and you just put it in like 5 beautiful pages. And how can you talk about a little bit about that? How do you become this Latina Mexicana and embrace it when you have all these limitations? You're like, oh, wait a minute, I am part of this, and I'm and I am, and I still feel this way.
Yeah, I feel like I'm still a work in progress always, and I evolve a little more in my thinking, in my acceptance of myself, and my grace with myself, and I evolve in maturity as well, and things that I valued and put weight on that I no longer do. Like when I was young, I wrote in the essay, when I was young, I wanted to live on this side of town because that's where all the Mexicans lived. And I wanted to be a chola. I went as far as to say, I wanted my phone number to start, our area code was 408. I wanted my phone number to start with 279, because if your phone number started with 279, that means you lived on the east side, and that's where all the Mexicans live. So I wanted 279, but I had 452, and my last name was Johnson. Ugh. I was very, very torn in my identity and who I was, who I wanted to be, and instead of just bracing like who I actually am, which is I'm Mexican American. I'm 4th generation. I don't speak Spanish. My mom doesn't speak Spanish. My grandmother spoke Spanish, but she didn't want her 8 kids to speak Spanish because she wanted them to blend in, and she thought she was helping. So she wanted them to blend in. You speak English, and she would not let them speak Spanish. So the only Spanish I heard growing up was my grandmother talking on the phone to her siblings because they spoke Spanish. So that's the only Spanish that I heard. And then watching my grandma watch her stories, her telenovelas, the game shows, everything in Spanish. Like that was the only Spanish that I was exposed to growing up. But I was so proud that was my culture, that was my blood, that was my people. But I was so proud and so disconnected at the same time. And it's been a journey. to learn to accept myself and at the same time prove myself. Like I have to prove to this group that I am Latina, and then I have to prove to this group that I'm not a stereotype, and then I have to, like, it's like so much of that when you start to just get in alignment and accept yourself and be bold in who you are and learn about your strengths that make you a great person and share those with people, then that's what really matters. And I'm honored to be Latina, to be American, and I still grow every day in accepting that, because there's some times where I'm like, I can't believe I still don't speak Spanish. I have no excuses. No excuses. But, you know, these Instagram photos aren't going to like themselves. You know what I mean? I'm over here wasting time with Instagram.
I love how you embrace your cultural background in your performances and in everything that you do, because not it makes us only laugh, but also we learn from it. And I feel like that listening to you is just like, it just gives me encourages me not to be afraid. And actually, it's funny because you make fun of these limitations and fears that we fight with, right?
Mm-hmm.
You make fun, but then at the same time, it's kind of like you give us that opportunity to say, like, guys, it's okay. It's
Mm-hmm.
okay. Let's
Mm-hmm.
nobody's perfect,
Yeah.
and I love that you do that, Anjelah. You find that loud strength within your work, and it's I'm so happy to having this cafecito with you, talking about incredible journey in your career. Talking about journeys, you talk about this journey that you had growing up and making those decisions, but oh my God. I mean, for you, you moved from San Jose to Los Angeles, pursuing, acting. And then somehow you get this opportunity of someone invites you to join this writing jokes class. Who
Yeah.
would have thought? Like, I want you to talk about that moment, because I think it's important that young Latinx in our community understand that we need to confront ourselves and those fears, because you're not coming from a family that has, a comedian like legacy, and so let's talk about that. When you make that decision to confront yourself, to get to know yourself, because I feel like for me, you're in a constant learning experience of yourself,
Yeah.
and that gives you power. So let's talk about that.
Well, I am from the Bay Area. If any Bay Area people watching this right now, yay! You know what I mean? From the Bay Area, I moved to LA. I wanted to be an actress, and I thought I was going to be a dramatic actress. I was like, I'm going to play a rape victim on Law and Order SVU. Watch. And then I got here and they were like, oh, that film's in New York. Just kidding. So I was like, well, I'm going to be a dramatic actress. And then next thing you know, I joined a class at a church. It was every Tuesday night. There would be creative arts night, and it would be like dance classes for dancers, acting classes for actors. And I was in the acting class because I'm going to be a dramatic actress. And this woman saw me. We were doing like an improv game, and she saw that I was funny, and she was like, I'm teaching a joke writing stand-up comedy class. Do you want to come take my class? And I was like, is it free? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, well, I guess so. And so I go and I take her class. And one of the first jokes that I wrote was this nail salon bit that ended up blowing up my spot on YouTube. And it started there. Everything in the class that we learned was about writing about our own experiences. And so I talked about my name and how I was Mexican, but I was Anjelah Johnson, and it was very confusing to people. I talked about getting spanked and spanking other people's kids. I put my whole life on display for people to see. And in the beginning, it was a lot of like, I was trying to be who people wanted me to be, who I thought they wanted me to be. So I would go to an all Latin night. Refried Fridays is what it was called at the Improv. And it would be all Latino comedians. And then I would do well, but I was trying to be who I thought they wanted me to be. I was trying to like put like an accent on it, or put like my childhood self that wanted to live on the east side and have the phone number that started with 279. Like, she started to come out because she was insecure and was like, oh, there's a bunch of Latinos and I want them to know that I'm them too. So let me try to act like what I think they want me to act like. And they would see right through it. It would be like, just do you. And so in the beginning, I was trying to like be that. And then I finally was like, you know what? Listen, I don't even speak Spanish. Let me write a joke about that. And I wrote a joke about how I don't speak Spanish. Then it was like, that's funny. See, do you? And so it was a journey even in that to accept myself and talk about myself in truth.
That's incredible. And I think it's a great it's a great way to inspire all of us, just not to be afraid to.
Uh-oh. I can't hear you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Olga? I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Can you hear me? I can't hear you. Uh-oh. Technology. I wonder if you guys can hear us. Is it just me can't hear her?
We can hear you, Anjelah.
Okay, thank you. Olga. Okay, in the meantime, I shall do the robot to no music. I'm keeping everybody occupied with a robot while you figure out your connection. I can't hear you. Back to life, back to reality. Okay, I cannot hear you.
Anjelah, people in the chat are saying that there may have been an emergency broadcast alert.
Oh!
Could have affected.
Yes, I did get that emergency broadcast alert. So maybe Olga got that as well and it messed up her audio. Are there any questions from
I'm here. I'm back.
Here? Oh, there you are.
Something happened. I'm back.
It was an emergency alert, I think. Okay.
So, Anjelah, I think that that's the most important thing for us, for our community, even for me, to hear that we shouldn't be afraid of getting to know who we are, and actually embracing who we are, because sometimes society, like tell us not to embrace it, because like tu abuelita told your family, and
blend in.
Blend in. Okay, how do I blend in? And we're so scared. So I am so happy that you're sharing this, because we should confront those fears, and we should, because then magical things happen. when we confront those fears and then you take that decision that empowers yourself. And what a beautiful thing. Did you know that by taking that, like, I'm sure that was even like scary, because how was like that discovery of like, oh, wait a minute, I can do this.
Yeah. I had no idea I was funny. I come from a funny family, so we always laughed, but I didn't know that I could do something like this professionally. And I feel like I moved out here as a dreamer. I had the audacity to dream for something that I never saw in my community. I had the audacity to look at something that was so far-fetched, to be an actress. Like, who am I? I'm just this little Mexican American girl in San Jose, California. Like, where do you be an actress in San Jose? You don't. But I would go to the movies and I would watch a movie and I would be mad because I wasn't in it. And I'd be like, I could do that. Like, I don't know how, but I know I could do it. I guarantee you I could do it. And I wanted to be an actress, and I tucked it away in my heart, and I wouldn't really say it out loud because I was ashamed, because it was like so far-fetched. It was more like a fantasy and not a dream. So I was like, who am I to dream something so big like that? And then one day I ran into a friend who I hadn't seen since I was young, and she was like, hey, I'm a cheerleader for the Oakland Raiders. You should come try out and be a Raiderette. And I was like, oh, that's not really my style, but thanks so much. And then I had another friend who had moved to LA, and she was a dancer, and she started doing commercials and little acting things here and there. And now I had an actual person that I knew in that industry that I dreamed of, but I would never say out loud. And I had this friend tell me, hey, if you move to LA, I'll help you get started and I'll help show you the ropes. And so I ended up trying out for the Oakland Raiders as my sign. And I said, God, I need a sign. I'm going to try out for the Raiderette cheerleading squad. And if I make it, then I'm going to move to LA and I'm going to pursue my dreams. And if I don't make it, please just show me another way and let me just take this fantasy and put it off to the side. I drove to Oakland by myself, 700 girls at this audition. Long story short, I made it. We went to the Super Bowl that year. I came home from the Super Bowl. The very next weekend, I packed up my room and I put it in my station wagon, my hand-me-down station wagon car that I had. And I drove to LA and I started from the ground up. My friend kept her word. She taught me how to get started. I started as an extra and I worked my way all the way up to a stand-in on a TV show. And then I ended up getting my first speaking role. I said like 4 words on TV, and my mom and my sister flew down to come to the taping to come watch me say my 4 words. And that's how I started. And then I took this class and I took every opportunity to learn along the way and to remember that dreamer from back in San Jose who used to wish she lived on the east side, wish she had the 279 phone number, wish she had a last name Garcia, Gonzalez, Rodriguez, Ramirez, something with an S, but she got Johnson. And that girl was now here living her dream, who she wanted to be, and is continuing daily to meet herself and accept herself and move forward and continue to dream even bigger dreams.
I love that, Anjelah. God bless you. There's a saying in Mexico, Dios no le da alas a los alacranes. God doesn't give wings to the, how do you say those, the alacranes? How do you say alacran? Those animals that...
Well, let me ask Google Translate.
Yeah, translate. I don't have my phone. Like those, the animal that is in Durango that like if they like pinch you, they will like poison you and then you die.
A scorpion?
Scorpion. Yes, thank you. So there's a saying, God doesn't give wind to the scorpions, gives wings to people that continues and like inspiring us, and that they want like the right things for, you know, just to follow their passion. So you are truly an inspiration for our community, Anjelah. Thank you so much for pursuing, and I know that you're a work in progress. All of us are work in progress, but we need you there. We need you there.
Thank you. We need you too. Good. I need you to teach me Spanish.
I need you to teach me English. So that this cafecito is becoming like great, actually, first conversation for us. But this is us, you know, the Latinos, like this is us. I don't speak perfect English, like what we just lived right now. But me reading your essay, I was crying. I was like, I connect with this woman, even though I wasn't born and raised here. But I was connected to every single word that you were expressing there. And, you know, we were born and raised differently, but this is the Latinx community. We're so diverse, and we need to start learning and accepting each other's differences. Yeah. You know, any advice that you can give to, imagine, Anjelah, that you have like thousands of Anjelahs right now watching you. Back 13 years ago, if you would like be there watching, what would be a message for that Anjelah 13 years ago?
Do you well, because there is no one like you. There's people that look like you. When we get an audition and they're looking for Detective Rodriguez, you're gonna find 15 Latina girls in there with a leather jacket on and jeans and their boots, and we all came to be Detective Rodriguez, and we're gonna be like, oh wow, I'm a dime a dozen. But really, there's no one like you, because no one has your childhood, no one has your trauma, no one has your abuse, no one has your victories, no one has your mother and her drinking problem, no one has your father and his insecurities, no one has your sibling who is always trying to compete with you, no one has your story that makes you who you are. So when you show up, you have something so special to offer the world, to offer your industry, whatever it is. You have something so special that someone can look exactly like you and they will never have what you have. So do you, and do you well.
Yes. I'm always really moved by that, because I feel like we are so scared. And by the way, whoever is listening here, if you're not in this industry, and correct me if I'm wrong, Anjelah, it's not just our industry in Hollywood. It's like any industry. When you go and have that meeting, do you, right? Yeah. It's every single industry. And I think embracing our culture more than ever is the most important thing.
Listen, if you have a landscaping company and you show up to a potential client's house and you know that they're interviewing other landscaping companies, just know they don't have what you have. They don't have your story, your passion. They don't have anything that you have. So you go and you get that client and you get that job because you show up and you be the best you.
I love that. Thank you, Anjelah. Thank you, Olga. Snap, snap. You guys have been amazing. Nos quedamos, we stayed with the people were asking for a knock-knock joke. Are you known for knock-knock jokes, Anjelah?
No, I don't know any knock-knock jokes.
Okay, maybe we'll put one out. But thank you so much for joining us. And I can't imagine a better way to have closed our conference than with the two of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
No,
Next year we'll be in LA. We'll be live in person, and I'm looking forward to having you back. Abrazos, hugs. Thanks, Olga.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye. So, thank you, all of you, for joining us. This has been an incredibly powerful 2 days. We can't believe it. We've had over 800 people join us for this, our first ever virtual summit. It's been incredible. It's shown us the continued hunger for us to hold this space, to be collectively in conversation together, actually really just to be together. What we've heard over and over the past 2 days is that there's hope, there's optimism, there's lots of love, mucho amor present, even in these very dark moments. And the light in our communities is you. As we push forward and we fight for our survival and for our dignity, thank you. We see you all leading from a space of love, not fear. We see the love that you hold for our community, for our work, and for each other. And that's really what we need right now. It's rage that we see is really just the opposite of love. And it's the fire in our bellies that's fueling all of this. And together we're going to build a future that is not going to allow us to return back to that old system, the system that was never built for us. HIP, as you know, is here to build it with you all, to hold this space and to do everything in our power to dismantle these systems of oppression and the grip of racism, these pandemics that are horrible in our communities, because we're there with you with that love, that hope, and that optimism. Leticia Peguero said it so well this afternoon. The time is now for us to transform the master's tools and make philanthropy work and give power to the people. And so it's a Leticia Peguero, Audre Lorde, new mashup in quotes, and I love it. We're in this for the long haul, and philanthropy, yeah, must move now. In the coming weeks, you're going to see us roll out our grants for Latino small businesses, for Latino nonprofits and essential workers on the front lines. We are just so incredibly thankful to all of our sponsors for making this possible. In the darkness, when we thought we weren't going to be able to do this, here we are because our sponsors stepped up. So thank you very much. And I'm just very appreciative that HIP has the board that it does, because we couldn't have done this without our board. Our board chair, Marie Skelton-Roberts, is a superstar, and she's here with us today.
Thank you, Ana Marie. When we planned this conference, we had no idea that COVID-19 and the protests of the last few days would be the backdrop for our conference. But both events served as important reminders of the inequality that's really embedded in our systems, in our country, and even in the distribution of philanthropic dollars. Our conference was titled Nuestro Momento, Nuestro Poder, and it did not disappoint. Throughout the past few days, we benefited from a lot of important content, and we heard loudly and clearly the imperative for Latinx communities for us to step into our rightful place in this country. And we also heard that our primary job in philanthropy is to support and lift up the work of groups and organizations actively working to reshape our democracy and transform systems of oppression. This is HIP's moment. It's our moment. We cannot lose this opportunity, and I promise you, we will not disappoint you. I want to thank all of the sponsors for having faith in HIP. And Amari already did a thank you, and I'll do a second one. Thank you for supporting this conference. A big thank you to our host, our moderators, and all of our panelists who brought their knowledge and, most important, their passion to the conference over the last 2 days. I also want to thank the HIP board. Many of you who sit on the board with me, you served as moderators and panelists. You are the most committed and values-driven board I have ever had the pleasure to lead. Most importantly, I want to thank La Mujer de la Hora. I want to thank our president, Marie Arglagos. To quote my fellow board member and friend, Cynthia Rivera Weisblum, I'm sorry, Cynthia, I just messed up your name. The work has been relentless since Ana Marie took the helm of the organization. She and her team, the entire HIP staff, have worked tirelessly. Challenge after challenge, injustice after injustice, yet they rise every day to serve. We could not do this work without you, Ana Marie. We could not do this work without you, HIP team and staff. We are so proud. I am profoundly grateful that HIP has the right leader at the right moment in our society. Thank you so much, everyone, for attending our conference, and I hope to see you next year in Los Angeles. Ana Marie, over to you.
Thank you, thank you. Mary, it's not me, it's the staff. We have to thank the staff because each and every one of them contributed. So snap to our staff. Without them, impossible to have done this. So we'll be thanking them for several weeks because none of them has slept, but they're here for you. They'll be there for you next year in LA, 2021. Can't wait to be there. And now let's dance to DJ Sizzle and to Cumbiaton. Thank you.